for it and I can just fix this stuff later. But hey guys, and welcome to this week's episode of the Master Your Mental podcast. I'm so excited about this one because as you guys can see from the title, we are covering all things health for wealth today. And I'm not doing this alone. I'm bringing on, of course, an amazing guest for you guys today, Patria Leone, CEO and founder of Health for Wealth LLC and H4W protein powders and supplements. She is also a health strategist who hosts her own radio show called Health for Wealth, where she features entrepreneurs and business owners on all things health related for maximizing lifestyle. I am so excited to have Patria here with us. I met her in person at this amazing event called shout out to Arizona Entrepreneurs, but I met her there and she was such a bright light. And I'm like, I have to feature her story, her experiences surrounding this. So that's what we're doing today and it's happening. So without further ado, welcome Patria to the podcast.
Thank you. What an intro. Love it.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here and just, to dive into this topic because you know this so well, how important these components are to health, all these things. We're going to get into all of it, the 4 pillars that you talk about, all these things. So before we do that, just tell me if you can, what is the one thing that you can tell me? What is this one thing that lights you up like nothing else in this life?
Self-care. I'm obsessed. My obsession with taking care of myself because I'm 52 years old and I work out 2 to 3 hours a day. Now, I don't expect people that I work with and clients to do that. But for me, that's my mental stability. Mm-hmm. Taking care of myself, whether it's my skin, my hair, my food. I'm very specific with what I feed my body. And living this way is so much easier than struggling every day. Whether you can't sleep, I track my sleep. I'm very specific about it. So that's what lights me up is taking care of myself. And if you did a day in the life of me, you would be like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. But for me, that's what I need. I need it. I want it. I love it. And it took me a lot of years to get to this point.
Wow. And I love how you talk about prioritizing that. So I'd love to hear from you. Like, what did that look like before? So what differences do you notice like before when you didn't live that way?
Well, you know what? I always try to. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that a lot of people have. They lack the proper knowledge and tools. So they get 94% of the population fail at goals that they try to achieve because they're lacking the proper knowledge and tools to whatever goal it is. Now, what's the number one thing people want to say? They want to improve their weight, their skin, whatever, but it's always something about themselves that we always pick ourselves apart. So for my first 20 years of my adult life, I always tried every possible thing to keep myself organized, together, my weight, I think I bought every single diet, every single gimmick, everything. But it was also because what we knew then, what we know now, what we know now, we did not know then. And I'll explain real brief. When I was 38, I was actually 40. Something happened to a very, very close family member. I like to keep her identity. I respect her privacy. She ended up being in the hospital and it changed our lives overnight, literally overnight. And what happened was she was in the hospital on chemotherapy, in and out for weeks and months at a time for 2 years in a row. What happened to me, I've always tried to take care of myself, but because I lacked all the proper knowledge and tools, I only did what I knew. So I was always struggling. At that point, when she was in the hospital, everything stopped. Like I didn't live this way. Everything stopped. My whole life for 2 years was based on taking care of her. And I lost myself. And I'll tell you, that was the deepest, darkest depression, because I am a high energy person. I'm not that deep, dark, depressed, anxiety. I don't get like that. I was like that, but I never let anybody know. So I struggled so hard. I gained 52 pounds. I let myself go. I didn't put a single bit of attention. And then something just snapped one day. I was like, what is happening? I don't even know who I am. I lost myself. So I ended up going back to the gym and trying to get her stable off of 42 different pills a day and off of this chemo. And I found an integrated doctor. He's a
Wow.
MD he's an MD with being a naturopathic doctor, puts the medicine together. He ended up getting her off of everything in a 3-month period. And I said, can you help me get everything in check? He is my mentor to this day, 12 years later. Brendan McCarthy, Dr. Brendan McCarthy at Patria Medical is incredible. I send everyone in our area to him. He changed my life. But the trick is this. You have to have all the proper knowledge and tools in place in order to make any sustainable changes. But the first things first, you have to be in the right frame of mind. Your mindset dictates sets the precedence. And I know you know what I'm talking about.
No, that's so true. And I love how you get into this, because you guys know I'm always, every single time I do these, I'm always writing everything down, because I want to make sure I share all of this, because it's so important what you're talking about, because you live this, right? It's not like you just decided that you wanted to do this because you really were interested in this. You experienced this. And when you talk about that period of your time where your friend was in the hospital, those 2 years where you gained 52 pounds and you weren't prioritizing that, and getting back to that. And like you said, like, how did you come across? And I love how you bring up the fact that, the Dr. Brendan McCarthy was your mentor for helping you do this. Like, is that where you got access to those knowledge and tools? Or how did you shift from that place where you were, where you said you didn't tell anyone, or you didn't let anyone know about how you were feeling? And of course that makes sense, right? Because you were so focused on being that person to be there for your friend, and your friend who was in the hospital, right, taking care of them, that is that what that was? Or what was it inside of you that made you feel like at the time, like you couldn't share
You
that?
want to
Like,
know
do you know?
something? The thing is this, it's my daughter. I like to
Yeah.
really respect her privacy, and
Yeah.
she's a very high level gymnast. So she was always extremely healthy. But what
Mm-hmm.
happened was, is when you're a parent and there's nothing, you see your child just be destroyed
Mm-hmm.
right in front of your face. You can't do a single thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
awful. And
Mm-hmm.
it brings, when I speak about it, it gives me the chills, because it brings me back to that moment, that
Yeah.
time where I lived in the hospital with her. She was in Cardin's Children's Hospital, and it was set up like a hotel room where she was on the oncology floor, and you're there staying with her. For 31 days, I never even went outside the doors.
Mm-hmm.
I never went outside there, never saw sunlight. You're talking
Mm-hmm.
about someone who, I originally was going to the gym every day with a friend at 5 a.m. Then I would go to church for a quick 30-minute mass at 8:30. That was my life. I had that stress relief and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything stopped. I lost my faith. I was just angry. You cannot, when you're out of control, and I'm a controlling person.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't do anything about it. And I'll tell you, watching her disintegrate. Now she's amazing and beautiful and stronger than
Oh.
ever. But what happened was, when he told me
Mm-hmm.
how to learn about your body chemistry and what's necessary for you specifically, that's where I had taken what I learned for myself
Mm-hmm.
and started to help other people. And people were like, what are you doing? How are you doing this? I became very, very fit. I was 13% body fat at one point. It was a little too much, but I'm obsessive. I already told you I'm obsessive.
No, that's
but,
amazing. That's
but,
so amazing.
and my whole point is, you can be over 40 and you can be at your best
Mm-hmm.
years, best energy, happiness. And I'll tell you right now, if you have the mindset and you put that effort into yourself, it changes every single thing. And what I really like to impress upon, because I did the 4 pillars, people are like, well, what do you mean financial fitness or your relationships? first of all, it starts with the relationship you have with yourself, about the obsessive self-doubting voice that you're creating your own self-doubt. How many times have you done that? We've all done that. It's human nature at some point with one thing or another. So when you're constantly questioning yourself, constantly doubting, you are your own worst enemy. You're the one that's holding yourself back. And a lot of times people won't admit that. They want to put the blame on someone else. Well, she is hard to work with. He did this, and it's always somebody else's fault, because that's just also human nature. And I'll tell you, the first and number one thing that's the most challenging is being honest with yourself, to say, I need to change this. I need to change this, whatever changes you need to make.
Wow. And I love how you talk about, because for me, when you bring that up, right, of placing blame on other people or other situations or other things, right, to distract yourself from the goal, right? Because you said the main focus is the relationship with yourself and how you speak to yourself. And I love how you lay that out as the foundation for your mindset, because it's so powerful, right? Because you said it, you are the one holding yourself back because you're giving away the permission to work on these things, because you already said, well, I can't do this. And the beautiful thing about that is the more work you do in that, and the more work you do on yourself, you're able to catch yourself, right? When you start to do that, and you're able to say, okay, I'm doing this, where I'm saying, oh my gosh, like I'm having such a bad day because this thing isn't working, or I had this meeting and it was canceled, or something happened or whatever. And, like you said, this person is hard to work with. And that's what it is you're able to say, okay, I'm doing this. Okay. What can you control, right? Your response and how you respond back or react. And I think that's amazing with what you really prioritize overall, because you really do a good job of combining the two things, right? The mental aspect and then the physical aspect of like your body and that aspect, because you've really done that transformation of, like you said, going from, gaining these 52 pounds to really committing to this and having it be a daily practice. Because that's what I love to ask you is this, what is your daily routine look like, right? To continue to, because I know you said it's like kind of wild, right? So I'd love to hear from you, like what that is and how that holds you to the place that you've been able to get to.
Oh, that's a great question, because for me, I eat very, very bland. I start my morning very, very early. Sometimes I'll have Zooms at because of the time change, some days we'll start at 4 a.m. or 5. I do get up for those, but what I'll do is I make my shake every single day. I have my own product. I do an unflavored protein with cucumbers, celery, fresh ginger, and cinnamon every single day. And I do that first. I start with that with my pre and probiotic, my Viscera, that I've actually, that's my product as well, that I produce and manufacture. I start there, and then I schedule most of the time, my morning is all work, whether it's with clients, podcasts, what have you, my networking groups, things that I need to do. The number one thing that people will tell me is, I don't have time. I can't do this, or because of the time. I manage my self-care. I put it in my calendar and I never deviate. Every single day, I am leaving in the afternoon to go to the gym, and I'm with my trainer 4 times a week. And the days that I don't have him, I am working at the gym by myself, but it is always very regimented. My foods are extremely regimented. I eat for my body chemistry. I'm allergic to a lot of different things, so I have an extremely bland diet. Do I expect other people to do that and clients to do that? No. Everything that I do within my business and for clients, when we work together, it's strategy. It's a 360-degree strategic plan, but it's customized on your goals. It's based on your goals and your body chemistry, and it's conducive to the way that you live. So I'm not going to sit here and give you an impossible task. It's not that way. But for me, what's right for me is not right for you.
Yeah.
What's right for you is not right for another. That's why it's
Mhm.
customized. But you have to know how to go about it. You have to have the knowledge. Between my foods, there was a point where I was I was forgetting to eat, because when you
Mhm.
keep your blood sugars level, you don't have spikes and you don't get hungry. And
Mhm.
in my office, and I'm obsessive, and I work, and I had to schedule and put alarms on my phone to eat properly, because you have to have, your metabolism has to keep going.
Yeah.
Now I do the same thing every day at the gym. I work out, I lift for an hour, I do cardio. Uh, I'll fit in abs in addition. So I'll have a half hour of abs, half hour of cardio, and then my
Mhm.
weights, weightlifting for an hour. Then I'll go into the cold plunge. Then I'll go into the sauna. Now, do I want you to be at the gym for 2 hours, 3 hours a day? No, that's for me. That's my mental stability. That's what I need for my body. And then a lot of my self-care also has to do with taking care of my skin. And
Mhm.
when you eat properly, okay, you have clarity, you have focus, your skin glows. You have, I do take a lot of supplements. I take my own supplements, so I know what is in them and what I
Mhm.
wanted in them. My omegas make everything shine, my joints healthy, and things of that nature. Blood pressure low.
Mhm.
I track my sleep. I cannot tell you how important tracking your sleep is, because at my age, people that are 40, over 40, you start to dip scientifically.
Mm.
Aging and hormones are out of whack. And a lot of people don't realize how important this is. Oh, I
Mhm.
got 2 hours of sleep. And I'll tell you right now, if you're overweight and you're eating junk food, I'm going to tell you right now, you are going to have a depression, a little bit of depression, a self-doubting mind.
Mhm.
You're going to have not enough clarity or focus. And what happens is, when you get that way, you cannot sleep, have that deep sleep and REM sleep that you need. I'm doing
Mhm.
studies on it right now. Deep sleep is when your pituitary will flush through all of your hormones and replenish everything and connect your memory. And REM sleep is very big for that as well. So the app that I use, and my Apple Watch with pillow, it tells you your percentage of the quality
Mhm.
that you have, and it'll break everything down, and my heart
Oh my
rate.
gosh.
So I know the nights when I feel good. I know, but I know when I wake up and I'm not feeling it, I'm like, oh, I got happy sleep. But
Oh my gosh.
so it's so important to know your body, and I teach people how to do this. And
Mhm.
it sounds like it's overwhelming because there's so much, but the minute you create habits, you're out with the old, in with the new. It's a way of life, and you'll live a different lifestyle in a heartbeat. I got to tell you something, what somebody said to me the other day. Somebody said to me, she goes, can you, and she lost a lot of weight, a lot of weight.
Mm.
And she's beautiful, and a beautiful person too. She says, and she's such a good person, no matter, she says to me, I cannot believe how many people have come up to me and talked to me since I've lost weight that have never engaged with me before. And
Mhm.
I said, think about this. And then this is not all about weight. It starts off with how you feel about yourself. That exudes the confidence level that you have comes out. So I told her, it's self-respect.
Yeah.
You're respecting yourself. You have a different mindset. You're caring
Mhm.
about yourself. What's going to happen? You're going to exude that confidence. People are going to gravitate towards that, because what do they want? They want to see good looking people. Our society
Mhm.
looks on the outside. That's just the way it is. And no matter how much in the past few years we have tried to change that outlook, you still got to be healthy. You still got to respect yourself. And people gravitate towards a happy person. You're going to be happier if you're sleeping right, eating right, taking care of yourself. And
Mhm.
it's going to exude to every relationship that you have.
Yeah, and I love how you talked about all those pieces, because you really are a living testament to that, right? Of how
Yes.
the way you eat and sleep impacts clarity, focus. And that's the thing too. Like you said, you brought up that point of, when you are, struggling with, weight or whatever it is, right? And you're not knowing what to eat, and you're just, eating all these different things, and you are in that funk period, like you said, you're going to have those experiences with depression and these feelings, but then it is wild too, because, I mean, even, even I did that, like when you change these different things, it is really, but it's about the habits, like you said, right? So when you start to form those, instead of, what I used to do, whatever, and it doesn't matter, it just matters what's important to you, right? What your priorities are, what you want to, if you're right here and you want to feel a certain way or differently, let's like work and see how to do that. And that's what you really know how to do so well, is to take that person with their experiences and really make it to customize to what they're wanting to accomplish. And that's huge because, like you said, that impacts the way you feel, and that has an impact on, right, your mental health and all these, and the relationships, and like all these the pillars: finances, relationships, feelings, health, all of it overall. So I love that you touched on that and really brought your own story into that, right? With, all the things that you did to help your daughter through the struggles that she faced and being there for her. But then at the same time, forgetting to pour into yourself with your routine that you have and you establish for yourself, of where, you're very consistent with your morning routine, getting up 4 a.m., 5 a.m., the gym, the shakes, all of these things that you've completely put into your life. And now it's like, you don't even, it's just part of your life. It's second nature. And I think that's amazing because, there's so many studies, and I love that you're doing the study, like you mentioned, that you're doing that on sleep and the importance of tracking that, because that is so critical, right? To like everything, right? What you're putting in your body, moving your body, what you're drinking, what you're eating, how you're feeling, your relationships, they all connect. But we can all do different things and start implementing these different habits like you talk about, which are so great. And I love that you just are doing this for people and helping people with this, because many people are stuck. And like you said, the focus in society, and like you said, the woman you're talking about, who was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, people are coming up to me now because I'm like lost weight. And it's true, right? When you
Oh yeah.
prioritize that, but then the feelings that you put out to the world from having that confidence, and it's really contagious, right? And I love that
You know what?
you
I
talk about
just did on my show out in Houston. I
that.
just did a piece on sleep, the in networking in the bedroom, lights on or off.
Hmm.
It's like, do you feel comfortable enough in your own skin to be with the lights on? And it's the same scenario. It's like, you know how many women don't want to have the lights on because they don't want to be seen,
Yeah.
because they don't even want to look at themselves in the mirror. 70% of
Hmm.
the women don't want to look at themselves in the mirror. And that is
Hmm.
a crazy number to me.
Hmm.
And it's sad. It's heartbreaking, because you should
Yeah.
love yourself. And if you don't love yourself the way you want to be loved, how are you going to get that love and that response? So you got, there's so many statistics that you could put out there, but the thing that I developed the 4-pillar method, because the mindset, overall health and wellness,
Mhm.
relationships, and finances all are intertwined. And I do speak directly to a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs. And they are people that are ambitious and driven like yourself,
Mhm.
and you don't give time to your self-care because you're always working or putting your
Mhm.
energy into someone else. And they miss that. But you got to realize, if your mental health and your physical health are good, you will prosper financially. If
Mhm.
you have issues, I say you have financial struggles, stress is going to torture you and take over. And if you're
Mhm.
struggling with if your financial health is not where it should be, you are going to struggle with physical and mental health, because your mental health is going to be the thing that's going to take over. So that's
Mhm.
where my book is going to be out very soon.
Yay!
I know, I'm really excited. It's Held Well, your 360-degree obsession with your best mind,
I
physical,
love
and
it.
financial fitness. So it's like everything that you do in your personal and your business life, no matter how much you want to say you could try to disconnect each of them, that you're one person. You have one
Yeah.
body, one mind, one life. And there's there's a solution to every circumstance. And
That's
that's
so
so,
true. And I love that. And I love that you're writing the book. That's so exciting. Oh my gosh.
yes,
I
thank
can't
you.
wait. And yes, and that brings me to this question that I always love to ask everyone because everyone always has different answer. And it's so good because it's always a different thing, a different piece of a solution that someone else might not have access to yet. So I would love to ask you, of course, Patria, we need to know this. What is the one thing you are doing right now in your life to master your mental?
Master my mental.
Yes.
I think every single thing I'm doing is
Yes, right.
my mental stability. You want to know something? I will say I'm a very habitual person.
Mhm.
So the structure that I have for my self-care in my life, I have to do every single bit of it on a daily basis. Even when I travel, my workouts, I'll never deviate from that
Mhm.
because that is my mental stability. I'm going to tell you a little secret, which theirs is my obsessiveness. When I go to hit the door to leave the gym, I feel a little tense. I don't know why this feeling of I love every single thing about what I do. I go to Lifetime at the Biltmore. I love my gym. I love my trainer. He is, you know what? He's been a really big part of um, he's more than just a trainer. He actually Vernon Stevens works. He worked in the NFL training football players, but also on the mindset, not just a physical trainer. And
Mhm.
he's been doing that for 25 years. So he also
Wow.
trains me like a sort of
Oh.
like a coach with the mindset, and he'll question me and he quizzes me on a lot of different things. You know, the like nutrition. I eat epigenetically. That is the chemistry of foods and how your body reacts chemically to your body. So
Mhm.
he's he's such a calming person. I when I wake up, honestly, I cannot wait for when I have my days, 4 days a week with him. I cannot wait to work out with him.
I love that. And I love how you talk about the power of habits for creating
Mhm.
what you've done, right? And building this foundation because, like you said, it really ties back into everything you talked about and really brought to the table in terms of your experience and what you went through personally and why you decided to do what you're doing, why you got so into this. And I love that you speak about that because it really is the foundation for everything is having those habits, building those habits. And you guys, she is seriously amazing. So tell the people where they can find more of you.
They can find more of me in a few places, actually. First, you can find it on my website. It's the number four healthywealthy.com.
Mhm.
My Instagram, my full name, it's at Patria Leone. And my Facebook is Health for Wealth LLC.
Perfect.
And I'm actually I have a YouTube, Health for Wealth, my YouTube. That's where I've been putting my video podcast. However, I'm
Mhm.
actually working with someone now who I will be putting them on a few different platforms, actually. Uh, I want to just really quickly, and oh, you can also reach me at 602-910-1340. But I want to share something real fast if we have time.
Yes.
Do we?
Yes.
You have time?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I went to another situation in October. Okay, now I was fit as could be, super healthy. October 23rd. At the end of September, I started to have a pain in my side. And
Mm.
I thought, and I'm going somewhere with this, I thought it was a muscle, I pulled a muscle. So we worked around it and it just progressed and progressed and it got bigger and bigger on my
Mhm.
side, in my back, by my ribs. All of a sudden, I'm out in a girls' trip in Nashville and I just get frozen. I go into like a convulsion state where I'm dripping sweat instantly. I'm talking in a blink of an eye. What happened was my kidney stopped working and it swelled 3 times the size.
Oh
Okay.
my
That
gosh.
is so serious. It came out of nowhere and it had nothing of my doing or not. And so there's certain specific things. I landed in the hospital. Then it was, never felt so awful because the fluid that was trapped, all the bacteria flooded through my whole body. Okay.
Wow.
Now,
Oh my
they
gosh.
told I was in and out of the hospital for 8 weeks. And this is why I say if you don't have your health, you have nothing. I am an extremely
Mm.
healthy person.
Yeah.
Had I not been as healthy with this situation, I would have been in the hospital for a
Mhm.
solid month. And they told me that. They put me on the worst medication. it stopped my whole life. My businesses stopped. I bought a brand new car that I haven't bought in a long time, couldn't drive it anywhere, couldn't go anywhere, couldn't move out of my bed.
Oh
And
my
then they put me
gosh.
back in the hospital. So my point is, like I always say, people are like, wow, this is expensive to take care of yourself. Well, guess what? You think wellness is expensive? See
Mhm.
what being unhealthy costs you. It's your
Yeah.
time, your money, and your life. Because he called me, my kidney doctor, the nephrologist called me. He said, if you don't go back to the hospital right now, you won't have a life. Because I said, doc, give me like 48 hours. I got to get some stuff done. He goes,
Wow.
no. He said, no, you won't have a life to go do anything. So I
Yeah.
had to go back. And then he gave me medication that attacked my muscles. So I lost a lot of my muscle mass that I'm used to having.
Oh my
You
gosh.
want to talk about deep, dark depression.
Mhm.
So I had to pull myself out of that and realize that I had to give myself grace. But my trainer helped me so much. So
That is so powerful and just amazing that you were able to do that with what you have in these tools. And I love that you mentioned that because especially when you're talking about, see the cost of it, right? To be healthy, but then to
mhm.
not is your life or worse. So I love that. And, this has been so amazing. Your story is incredible. I love, all the experiences you shared today and these tips and the advice and these tricks that you've come across and how you've been able to do that for yourself and others. It's been so amazing. So I want to thank you, Patria, so much for coming out. You are just
Thank you so
absolutely
much.
incredible. I love it. And again, I want to thank you guys as well for always being here and tuning in. I love you guys. And whether it is the daytime or the nighttime, I want to wish you a great rest of your day and say goodbye to you guys. So bye guys and bye Patria. So bye
Bye.
Patria.
Thank you.